Hello, fifth graders. It is Monday, the beginning of a new week. It is May 18, and this week we are leaving area and perimeter behind so that we can focus on something called volume. You can see our lesson today is 8-9 cubic units and volume number 1, which means on Thursday you will do day 2 of volume. You can see that today's teaching point says I can use cubic units to determine volume. So all of our measurements today will have the label of cubic units. We will not be measuring in cubic centimeters or cubic inches or cubic feet, although you definitely could. But for the sake of our math today, we are just going to count the cubes themselves and call them cubic units. Here's a visual of 1 cubic unit. That is our unit of measurement. When we are determining the volume of what we call a rectangular prism, or you might say, well, that's a box. It is a box. To determine the inside volume, we will be multiplying the length times the width times the height. And you know, with multiplication, it doesn't matter what order you do it in. We always say length times width times height, but actually if you did it in a different order, you would still get the same answer. So we have the length times the width times the height of this rectangular prism would give us the volume. So let's say that the length of this is 5 units. Let's say the width is 2 units, and let's say the height is 3 units. So we have 5 times 2 times 3. So we would say 5 times 2 times 3 would equal our volume. So I know that 5 times 2 is 10, and 10 times 3 is 30 cubic units. Let's try another one together. Here we have a rectangular prism that does not have each side labeled for us, so we need to count. So the length here is 3. Can you tell what the width is? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we put 4 in that box, and the height of this prism is 2. What we would need to do then is we will need to multiply 3 times 4 times 2. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24 cubic units. You see green boxes. This tells you that this page is where your assignment begins. I will be doing some of these problems with you, and I will leave my answers in them, and any box that is empty is a box that I expect you to try to fill in yourself. As we can see at the top, we're going to explore layers. You can use layers of cubes to build rectangular prisms. All of my Lego builders, you know this to be true. Each layer of these rectangular prisms is 4 cubes by 2 cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4 by 2. So in this box, I would say a 4 by 2 equals 8. And since the question is how many cubes make up each prism, I'm not going to label my answer as cubic units. It's asking me how many cubes, and I used 8 cubes. So let's go down. Now I know that each layer is 8, right? I already figured that out. So I could now write 4 times 2 times 2. Do you see why I did that? I have 4 by 2 by 2 layers now. See, 2 layers. And that would equal Well, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16 cubes. Moving on to this one. I again have my 4 by 2, but this time instead of 2 layers, I have 3 layers. So 4 times 2 is still 8, and 8 times 3, well, that's 24 cubes. Do you see a pattern that we had 8 cubes in one layer? And in 2 layers we had 16, 3 layers we have 24. Can you predict what 4 layers would be? Some of you are seeing that pattern. The volume of a prism is the number of cubes needed to build the prism. Volume is recorded in cubic units. In this part of your assignment, you have some blue rectangular prisms. I want you to find the length, width, and height, and then I want you to fill them in these boxes. So let's figure out the length of this prism, 1, 2. The width of this prism is simply 1, and the height of this prism is 2. So I will plug those answers into my formula, length times width times height. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2, well, that would be 4 cubic units. Okay, instead of spelling out the words, it's fine with me if you just call it CU for cubic units. I want you to do the rest of these problems on your own as part of today's assignment. On this page of the assignment, it looks just like a page that we would get if we were back in school. Don't we wish we were there? Remember that volume equals length times width times height, and so you need to figure out all of those, the length times width times the height. So I would say the length is 4 times, let's see, the width looks to be 4 times the height seems to be 3 equals my area. 4 times 4 is 16, and then I would need to, on a piece of paper in front of me, figure out 16 times 3. 16 times 3, I've figured out on my paper, is 48 cubic units. And above it says the number of unit cubes. Well, that's the same number as my answer, 48 unit cubes, which gives me a volume of 48 cubic units. You will complete the rest of these rectangular prisms on your own as part of your assignment. The final part of today's assignment is where you get to try to draw a few rectangular prisms of your own and figure out the area of each one. This can be a little tricky if you don't have your mind where it's very easy for you to picture a 3D shape. This could feel like a challenge to you, but I encourage you to give it a try just for fun. See how it goes. And you might be thinking, oh my goodness, this feels like this assignment is going to be really long today. I think all of the pages that I've showed you all together have 11 problems to them, only 11 problems. So spend some time trying to draw some cubic rectangular prisms. This is my example. I'll show you how I made it. I went up to my line tool. We use this when you designed a village or a city. We use this tool when you designed your bedroom. And you will have to pick a line, and then you will go down here. See how my cursor is now a plus sign? And I'm going to try to line it up with the lines on my paper. Okay, there is my line. It's in blue, and I want to make it more visible. I'm going to change my line color. Oh, pick any color you want. Maybe I will make it a dark purple. And right now it's really thin. Do you see that? So I'm going to highlight that again in blue by clicking on it. And I am going to change the color of my line, or actually I'm going to change the width of my line. And you could pick, I don't know, maybe a 3. Do you see how that got thicker? A 4. And there, you can see my line a little better. I'm going to click another line. I'm going to extend it maybe this far. Let's go this far. Okay. And then I'm going to make it thicker. Did we do a 4? I can't remember. And then I'm going to do another line, and I'm going to match my line down here. Oh, look it. The computer now is reading my mind. It is making them thicker for me. I love that. So now I have just a 2D shape, but to make it a 3D shape, so some of you can just see this right off the bat. If you can't, you are going to go up to the top 2 corners, actually this corner, and this corner. And you are going to extend it diagonally from one corner. There, my sign is kind of in the way. It's not letting me do it exactly how I want to. Let's see if I can click on this. I'm going to see if I can move my label up a little bit. Okay, I'll move this guy over. Ha ha ha! I made him really big. Let's move him up. I want to have some space. And this is not what I wanted to do. Here we go. Now that I have space, let's see what happens if I go all the way to here. Okay? And then I get another one, and I go all the way to here. Since I went out 2 boxes, I want to go 2 boxes this way. And then I'm going to take another line. I'm going to go down. I'm going to take another line, and I'm going to go down here diagonally. Another line over here. Hoo-wee! Check it out. Now none of these is thick. It stopped remembering that for me. So I'll go through and make them thick a minute. Here I have my rectangular prism. I decided to keep it black. Most of my lines were ending up black. And do you notice how this label that shows length times width times height matches the color of this prism, so I know these go together? So this is my black and white one, and I made my label over here using a text box, and now I will write my formula. So let's see, the length is 2 times, what is my width? It looks like it's 2 times, and what is my height? 1, 2, 3. And now I have to multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12 cubic units. I hope that this is not frustrating. It is not meant to be frustrating. To some of you, this may come very easy. Others of you may have a challenge trying to draw it in this way. Give it a try. See what you can do. Even if you think, oh, I don't know if that's quite right, see what you can do, and remember length times width times height is your area. Turn it in when you're finished. Don't be frustrated. Try to have fun and make it a great day. Bye-bye.